since I was like 7. And thing is, I'm already covered in blood, walking in love. This is for the ones who've been stuck in the mud, searching for hope. Trust me, I know what it feels like to drown in my problems, but God came through with the rope. So I just wanted to share that real quick because that really stuck out to me. And I'm like, this kind of fits with what I'm talking about. So glad we had the quick switch up because what I'm talking about needed me to be in the middle a little bit today. So I'm glad we had to switch up. But first I want to say major shout out to Deja. Y'all give it up for Deja. For everyone who's helped with bringing this together. I'm so glad to be here. I'm coming from Sumter. I'm so sorry to be late, but we had car trouble. But we're here nevertheless. And I'm so glad to be here. We actually met on TikTok, which is pretty cool. And when we connected there, we did a live together, which was very impactful for other people. And then we just clicked. And it's been conversation via iPhones. But here I am. I get to meet my girl in person. So I'm so happy to be here. Real quick, how many entrepreneurs do we have here? Or aspiring entrepreneurs? Aspiring to be entrepreneurs. Okay, so we got a couple. So I know one of the things that I wanted to share on this event as far as it goes, Purpose Through the Fire, was for entrepreneur endeavors or kingdom as far as that goes when it comes to entrepreneurship. And I'm in a very interesting space when it comes to that. And so I'm going to share just a snippet of my testimony, my story, and in hopes of encouraging someone here. Cool? That's cool real quick? Okay. All right, so the middle of it. If I had a topic or something that I want you guys to remember, the middle of it is pretty much what I'm talking about today. Being in the middle of it. So the in-between, right? And this is not, even if you're not an entrepreneur, maybe in life, you've been in between. You've been stuck in a place of trying to figure it out. Okay, I'm here, but I want to get there. But I'm not where I was back then, but I'm here, right? So I'm in the middle. And in entrepreneurship and business, that can also be the case, but again, also in life. So hopefully I'm able to speak to everybody today. And this is where questions arise. So when you're stuck in the middle, when you're in the middle, questions can come up. There's doubts, there's fears, there's fear of the unknown. But yet there's still this yearning to find an end, right? And the end result sometimes, or find an end result. So getting there sometimes can be kind of tough. And again, I just want to encourage somebody today that if you're not where you were before, you're better than where you've been. And I'm just glad that y'all here to hear what I have to say today. And I hope that this encourages you as well to just push forward as far as that goes in your journeys, as far as your purpose through the fire. Cool? All right, so when we talk about purpose through the fire, the word that stuck out the most to me was that word through, right? How do we get through? And I'm actually glad again today that I'm able to share in the middle because that's what I'm talking about. So again, I am a founder of a nonprofit. It's called Nursing Back to Life. It is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So back in November of 2014, after divorce, I had 3 amazing children out of that marriage. I remember just really trying to search for purpose. I always knew, I grew up in church, all of that. And I had a love for the Lord, but it was what am I really supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? I was on this search to find myself. And I think one of the hardest things for me to learn throughout life is that when finding yourself, you can't just look within, you gotta look to Him because He's within. And so when I began to look to God for those answers, that's when they became very clear for me. So in 2014, He gave me the vision of Nursing Back to Life. At the time, I was serving as a certified lactation counselor, which is a breastfeeding counselor for my community, helping women nurse their babies. And when He said Nursing Back to Life, I'm I don't really want to do the medical field, But he told me it was to nurse people to live the life that they've been predestined to live. So that's what Nursing Back to Life is. It's an organization where we encourage individuals. At one point it was just children, moms and children, but individuals to live the life that God has predestined them to live. Okay. Outside of that, I also have a marketing company. It's called J5 Marketing Group. In 2017, it was registered, but in 2016, I started doing graphics, and I called them random graphics. I was doing my own flyers for my support group. So in Nursing Back to Life, we did support group sessions, a lot of community outreach for domestic violence awareness, for women's support and advocacy for domestic violence, and just encouraging young women, teens and all, just to live, again, the life that God has predestined for us. So with doing so, I was making my own flyers and business cards, all my marketing material. Then people started asking me like, "Hey, you can do this?" I'm like, "Sure, $5." You know what I'm saying? And so I started doing it. And I was calling it random graphics, right? And God was like, "Don't call nothing I give you random. Like this is not random." I'm like, "All right, man." And so it became J Potts Marketing Group, where I was able to do for a lot of small businesses and major companies, a lot of real estate agents across the country, marketing materials, so logos, business flyers, all of those great things. And then the last thing, as a creative, I just kind of bunched that in one. As an author and doing photography, setting up luxury picnics, things of that nature, was another thing that I began to do. And so this is a book, and I'm going to share this real quick, and then we're going to hop into some points I want you guys to grab. And I'm going to be out y'all way. But Nursing Back to Life was a book that we wrote in 2017. I have 3 additional authors in this book. And again, it just shares our stories on overcoming low self-esteem, toxic relationships, and domestic violence. And then in 2021, during the pandemic, I told my kids, like, we're not going to sit and be bored. We were listening to a song a lot. It was like our affirmation song for like a whole year by Sanaa, just called I Know Who I Am. I know who I am, you know, I know who God says I am, right? And so we wrote this book. I gave them all like a little project over the summer, like y'all gonna draw y'all pictures, y'all gonna do X, Y, and Z. And they wrote this. It has 21 pages of affirmations from my daughter at the time was 5, my baby girl, my son was 12 at the time, 11 at the time. So in this book, it shares activity pages, covering pages with different affirmations on each one. It said that 21 days it takes to create a new habit. So we hope that that will inspire people to speak positive over their lives. So those were like 2 projects that came about. All right. All of that out of the way, that's like a lot. Again, with picnics and all these many things that I put my hand to ain't got nothing to do with me. Let me tell you something. The Lord really be like looking out for me, okay? With that being said, I found myself in the middle, right? What do I mean by that? So now, through the pandemic, I'm gonna kind of rush the story a little bit, but during the pandemic, 2020 was the year that God gave me the vision to go ahead and open a facility for our nonprofit. In January, I remember talking with business leaders, and they're like, "Hey, you know, you're gonna have to get this 501c3 certified," and da da da. I'm like, "I can do it. I've been doing a lot of things. I can do it." And they said it would take 90 days. In January, I applied. In January, we got the keys to the building. In February, we received the certification that we had been approved for the 501c3 in less than 30 days. And I had completed all these things on my own. And I was so excited, like I was so happy for myself, like, yeah, like I did it. And then March came for our grand opening on March 14th, and then as many of you know, like the world just kind of stopped, right? Like COVID came, and it was like, oh my God, like what are we gonna do? My mother had just retired from being a school teacher, so like she was all in to help me with this facility. And with our enrichment center, what we did was bring in, starting out with 8 children to just help them with their education through the pandemic. Quickly went from 8 to 35 by the summer, and we began a summer camp. By the end of the summer, we had 75. By August, we had over 100 children registered, and we were serving our community as the largest enrichment center in the community, providing spaces like this for empowerment events and different things of that nature. So it was all well, but I'm super transparent, and I pray that you guys hear me out as far as that goes. I feel that my life is like literally a testimony, right? Like we go through things in life, but a lot of times it's because we place ourselves there. So with all that God had been doing for me, I allowed my mom to just like take full control. She was the director of the program. She was there at 5 o'clock in the morning. I need to put this on. She was there at 5 o'clock in the morning. There, I'm chilling in my bed because you know everything's going well. Like I became super relaxed. So my first point today is when you're in the middle, because now I'm here where I know God is not finished, but I know where I'm headed, right? And so one of the first points that I have for you is for you to determine your success. That's number one. You determine your success. But before I can say that, I do want to give you scripture in regards to what the Bible says about success in Proverbs 14:23. It says, there is profit in hard work, but mere talk leads to poverty. We can say what we doing all day. I told y'all a whole lot. But I can tell you right now, ain't no building standing because of a simple fact that I didn't continue the work which I started, or which God had started, right? Nursing Back to Life is still a 501c3 nonprofit. We're now still back to the space of speaking engagements, getting back out there. But as far as the transition goes, right? So that's what I'm talking. You determine your success. The word success is simply accomplishing a goal. So if you have like goals as far as purpose is concerned, as far as going through the fire is concerned, like you determine where you want to go. If you want to sit in sadness and mope around because things aren't falling into place or the finances aren't there or whatever, then that's on you. It'll lead to poverty. But if you actually get up and do the work and you put practices that maybe you guys will hear in here today into place, then you'll be able to see the goodness of what God has for you. Also, just to know when it comes to determining your success, that your success is like personal, right? It's like a personal goal. I can't tell you what your success looks like. I can't tell you what your success looks like. It's what you determine to be your goal. And I just wanted to encourage you guys to just make sure that you shoot for that and pass that when it pertains to your goal. So number one, you determine your goal. And again, like Philippians 4:13 says, you can do all things. So you know that if you have it in your heart to do whatever that thing is, whatever your it may be, as far as being in the middle of it or not fully walking in it, you can determine where you go. The second thing is to not rush it. I think even in the process, or even now, like once things transition and then the things got back great for me, I was like, boom, let's go. And God was like, nope. Nah, you about to chill right here where you know what I'm saying, this bed that you made, you about to hang out just for a second because there's things that I want to build in you. And it's okay if you're not moving at the pace of someone else. When you're going through the fire, when you're finding your purpose through the fire, it may not be super swift, like at all. It may be a slow walk through that fire, but it's okay, like, because you can come out, okay? But being in the middle can sometimes also serve as one of the most critical points for you. And again, whatever that it is to you. So my reminder to you again is to not rush, but wherever you are, let that be where you are, okay? The world will tell you to hustle, go get it, move super fast, like you gotta have it, but that's not the case, at all. But I also believe to keep moving, right? So God doesn't want his people stagnant. So as long as we're continuing to push forward to purpose, then I believe that those doors will open, things, whatever it is that you desire, as far as finding your purpose, those things will happen for you. And the last thing is to be you. Simply to be you. There's something called like analysis paralysis. I feel like I've had so many times where I've sat and I've like overthink a thing like too long, and then it causes you to just kind of be there, right? And then you're not like moving, you're procrastinating, you're not getting where you need to go. But once you're clear on what you want out of this life, as far as when it comes to like pushing forward in your purpose and going to wherever it is God has led you to go, the biggest thing to do is not to overthink it, but literally to at least take whatever the smallest step may be. Recently I've been in a book or whatever, it talked about our thoughts. And if we have a lot of bad thoughts, if we just change that one thought throughout the day, if we just shift it, it can shift our entire day. Same thing when it comes to this and when it comes to pushing through the fire to get to your purpose. If there's one small thing that you can get up and do. For me, I've had this thing, like I'll be like, my kids or whatever, I'm like, if y'all ain't moving, I ain't moving either. Like, y'all hurt, get up, come on, let's go. Okay, nobody want to go? Like, I don't want to go either. But literally, if I just jump my behind up, like maybe we'll be able to go do whatever we need to do. So something as simple as setting my mind, don't wait on somebody else, just get up and do it, will make a huge difference. Sometimes you literally have to just jump. But in doing so, remember to be you. Don't ever switch up who you are to try to be like someone else or any of that. God has literally given us like design, purpose, and gift for everyone. And no man, I believe, is the same as far as that goes. And then to close it up, there's one last scripture I wanted to leave with you guys. That's Ephesians 2:10. It says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." Again, for we are his workmanship, created in Jesus, in Christ Jesus for good works. So point three, be you. You're his workmanship. Just be you. All right? You're his workmanship. So all you have to do is be you. It says, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in it. And that we should walk in it. And that goes back to not rushing. Like, if the Lord is saying that you can walk in it, like, just literally walk in it. You don't have to rush the process. I believe whatever God has for you, like, you're able to do that, you know? And so just to conclude that up, that's pretty, like, much what I had for you guys today. As far as me being in the middle of business, a lot of things have, like, transitioned since the pandemic, but God has literally still been able to get glory. And for that, like, he was able to show me with that, like, that's what's most important as far as that goes. Not me getting a thing from him and then kind of leaving it at bay, but literally trusting him to provide the whole way. And so I just wanted to encourage you guys with that as well. If God has given you something, if he's given you a purpose, shows you your purpose, and where it is that you're headed, trust to know that, like, he'll lead you through it, and at the end of the day, like, he'll get all the glory. So thank you.
Awesome. Now, for those who were here earlier, you should know what I'm about to do, right? Little quiz. Okay. Thank you so much, Jeanette. That was awesome. Your testimony is amazing, especially during the time of the pandemic. I know it was not easy, but ooh-wee, man, that growth is 5 to 8. No, yeah, 5. No, okay, hold on. 4 to 8 to 35 to 75. All right then. Okay. All right. So, does anyone remember the 3 points you mentioned? And then there's an underlying theme. I don't want you to say it yet. If you know it, I don't want you to say it yet. So Sean, I'm curious to see if it comes through. All right. So he said, "You determine your success." As you stated, Proverbs 14:23. Because again, just like Dr. Gaines, in our own health journey, mine is different than yours, than yours, than yours. So my success is different than her success, is different than her success. Even if we were all doing the same exact thing, because God gave her a gift, and He gave her a gift, and He gave me a gift, and He gave you a gift, but He's going to deliver it differently in each and every one of us. And so that term, competition, collaboration over competition, I like to say I coined that 20 plus years ago. But that's why I don't worry about who is doing the same thing, because my delivery is my delivery, or I call it my sauce. My sauce is my sauce, you know, the way I do it. So you determine your success. Your success is your personal goal. Aim high. She didn't say aim high, but she said, reach. You want to aim high. In learning about SMART goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, reachable, and time sensitive, if you don't know what SMART goals are, look them up, set them for yourself. You want to aim big. When I was in high school, I grew up in New York, and I went to high school of fashion industry. And some of us who are older, Lifetimes of the Rich and Famous with Robin Leach. And I actually had the opportunity to meet him when I worked at a department store. And he had a show that probably would mean nothing now, because we see all the lavishness that's out in the world, all the wonderful places to visit. You can go on any social media app and see the Bali and Thailand and all these beautiful places, but we didn't have that growing up, except for this show. And I remember my freshman year in high school, someone said, "Why are you watching that? Black people are not going to be able to go to those places." And I said, "I don't know about you." I said, "But I love that show. I'm going to watch it and anything like it, because I might not be able to go to Monaco or the French Riviera, but there's a Mexican Riviera. There is a Bali. There are other places that I can go visit." So it keeps me dreaming. I've always dreamed big. We want to continue to dream big and aim high. Second, she said, do not rush it. Recently, I did a podcast room on being still. But sometimes God needs us to be still for a moment not rush the process because he has to download some instructions. He has to give you the directions because it's not what we're doing, it's what he's giving us to move out into the world. But yet, even in that still moment, keep moving, keep planning, keep putting the plan together, keep understanding what he's sharing with us. Sometimes that still moment just means to be quiet, to block everything out. The pandemic was a moment in a time where we were quieted. And I think God needed us to get to that place and space. There were two sides, like the scale of justice. Sometimes the scale is up, sometimes the scale is down. There were a lot of traumas during that time, but there were a lot of realizations. I don't know if there's another way I can say it, but people started to realize their talents, their gifts, their skills, their abilities, and they were able to press forward. I mean, the number of entrepreneurs soared through the roof. The number of families that started to understand that I need to spend some time sitting down with my children the way our grandmothers and great grandmothers used to and have a meal and understand what's going on with our kids day to day so that we're not seeing the sad stories on social media of a child taking their life. Sometimes he just needs us to be quiet so that we can move. Third, she said, be you. Because he has made you, as I said earlier, uniquely and wonderfully made. You are special, you are different. Every little piece and particle and cell of who you are is unique to you and like no other, even if you have a twin or multiple. Um, so, as we say that, we are going to go on to our next speaker. Any questions to our guest? Any questions? Well, afterwards, there's going to be some information so that you're able to touch bases. I mean, we have some just wealth of information in the room for our body and our health, for business, for those who have children, to help your children become entrepreneurs. I think that is so amazing. That's one thing that we started to really see during the pandemic is that I actually just did a Juneteenth festival. I'm the lead planner for the city of Monroe. And I had our first youth entrepreneur. He's on social media. Kids pray too. He has a clothing line. And when I tell you that little boy, oh my God, he's 11, 12. He's 12. And amazing. When his mother sat down and that little boy presented everything that he sold that day. And his clothing line, and the quality of clothing, amazing, awesome. I'm like, we had 5 bounce houses. Kids went nuts. And I said, you didn't get a chance to go? He was like, no, I have business to take care of. I was like, oh, all right, okay, all right. And he came to his mother and said that he wanted to do this, and that's what he wanted to name it. He said, because we do pray too. And I actually, in the last 2 years, I've seen, and you can see it all the time on social media, kids, just tearing the room down, praying and worship and so forth. And I think it's absolutely amazing. I'm a crier, so I'll go straight to tears. All right. Well, Jeanette will be here for a little while, so if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Oh. I love that this is a family moment because as the little slips and glitches, we're all just receiving of the fact that this is a family situation, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, as I said before, this gentleman, is an overcomer. He is an obstacle buster, and he has a passion to pour into his community. And so, who this man is, he is the only one of his name. So, Sean Gaines is the owner of Lions Trucking Incorporated, God's Creation Scholar Academy, and God's Insurance Advisors, CPR training, and A to Z staffing. Man, you got a lot going on there. All right now. All gains, no losses. Oh, and a nonprofit, 501c3. His passion is helping others and pouring back into the community. Most of his companies were created to help and fulfill a void for people in his community. He has always had a passion for working with his kids. His nonprofit started out as a football camp that evolved to helping families holistically. He found that some of the parents couldn't work because they didn't have childcare, had felonies, or couldn't find jobs. These barriers were the catalyst to the creation of his daycare, the trucking company, and the staffing agency. He had to overcome many obstacles during his journey to becoming a serial entrepreneur, which he gives all of the honor and glory to God for overcoming those trials and tribulations. So please welcome Sean Gaines.
You didn't know that you was gifted. You ain't know that stuff you went through just set you up for winning. You ain't know. Oh, you ain't know that you was chosen. You ain't know that you was golden. You ain't know you was important. Oh, you ain't know you had a purpose much bigger than anything you ever considered. Oh, you ain't know. Well, I'm gonna be your mirror. Look.
Thank you.
You have something to offer you and not you mistakes.
Good, thank you. I like that song. I just stumbled upon that song probably like 2 weeks ago. I listen to Christian rap, and so it just talked about just overcoming a lot of things, but which I definitely know about. So just a little bit of background. Overcoming things. I started as a young child, as an infant coming out of my mom's womb. My mom's back there on the phone anyway. So side note, my mom's about this tall and my dad about this tall. So when I was born, I was too long for my mom's torso. So when I came out, actually, my feet would go back and touch my legs. So I actually had cast from my hips all the way down to my toes. So one day, I tell the story. I love it. As my mom and dad were going on a date or something, I don't know where they were going, but my grandma was watching me, and so my parents came back. My grandma actually prayed over my legs, anointed my legs, cut my cast off, and my mom was like, "Mama, what you doing? What you doing? Why you take the cast off the baby?" And so she took me to the doctor the next day. Everything was fine. That's my first testimony ever, like just being born. So like people always, that know me, like, Sean, why you always active? Why you always doing something? Because I can, because it was a possibility that I couldn't walk. You know what I mean? So just that's why I'm always moving, I'm always active, I'm always in sports and doing something active. And so like I tell people, that's my first testimony. And going through obstacles and just I'm not arrogant in anything that I do. The only arrogance I have is my faith. So it's okay to be arrogant in your faith, because you gotta remember you are a child of God. You are a prince, you're a princess, you're queens and kings. And so you have to walk as such. You know what I mean? So be arrogant in your faith. So you go through things and things are put in your way. Just know I've already overcome those things. So I can't look at where I'm going through the middle of the journey and feel like I can't overcome it. I've already done it. It's already done. So I have to believe that. And so, like Desiree spoke earlier, like she was like, oh, she was in pharmacy school, things of that nature. That's another obstacle we had to overcome. I had a baby at the time. Like, she didn't work. I told her, while you in school, don't work. At that time, I had 11 jobs while she was in school, so she didn't have to work. And so part of is understanding, like, when you overcome things, also have to have things that make you remember things and focus on your goal. So one thing we've had this for years. How many of y'all know what this is? Anybody know what that is? What is that? It's a food stamp card. It is. I've kept this food stamp card since she was in pharmacy school. And I keep it with me. Why? So I know where I came from. I know what it took. I know the obstacle I had to overcome. Just because you start here don't mean you're going to stay here. My name is on this card. This ain't nobody's I paid some money for. It's mine. And so this is where you start. Like, don't get stuck in where I am and focus on where I am rather than where you're going. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, I keep this card with me. And I've had this card since probably been 10 years or more. And I still have this card to this day. This card actually ride around me in my truck every day. It's a constant reminder where I've been. I know what he's taking me through. I know what he's taking me over. I was able to overcome a lot of things. And I was through Christ. And so, that was the one thing. And like just other obstacles and just having people look at you and like, oh, why are you doing this? I've had some companies I try to start. They were like, why are you starting that? You know, and I can't let what other people do or think dictate my process or my success or how it is, because it is individualized. God made me one. He made me, when he made the mold, he broke it. There's only one of Sean. There's only one of you. Understand your purpose, your process is different. It may take one situation for you to go through to understand what your purpose is. And so my nonprofit is called All Gains, No Losses. It's, partly for my last name, Gaines, but it was more so like the whole mindset of all gains, no losses is no matter the situation, there's always something to gain. Because we're going to go through things. And we can focus on what? We can focus on the fact that we went through it, or we can focus on what are we learning from the process? What did I learn from that situation that's going to make me better rather than soaking in, oh, I had to go through this and now I don't know what to do next. Right? So, it's a process. So, real quick, take your phones out. Everybody get your phones out. I just want to say both of y'all took my words, by the way. Just want to let y'all know that. This is all good. What I'm going to do is give you two scriptures, and then we'll go from there. First one is, you don't have to write the scripture down, but you're going to need your phone shortly. Matthew 6:19, lay not up for yourselves treasure upon the earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. Don't hold your blessing to yourself. Don't hold your blessing. You understand? Don't hold your purpose, because it's for somebody else, also not just you. You don't know how you're going to enlighten other people and what you're going to bring to the table to encourage someone else. Other is Isaiah 43:2. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. Got it? So, the reason why I want y'all to take your phones out and take some notes is because I might say something you need to take a note on, and I might not. Who knows? So just be ready, But so in that last passage, he was talking about going through the fire. So we have to understand. Well, before I go through that, business owners. Who's a business owner? Stand up if you're a business owner. If you're a current business owner, please stand up. Please stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead. Stand all the way up. You are okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. You can have a seat now. Now, those of you who are thinking about becoming a business owner, any thoughts, processes? Stand up. You thinking about it? Okay, thank you. Oh, you wasn't sure? You can have a seat. And those of you who thought about being a business owner, but like, man, I ain't got time to do that. I don't even know where to start, what to do, and you thought about it in your head, but you're not gonna move forward with it. Anybody? Nope. Cool. And so a lot of times we look at things, we're trying to start a business and we don't know how, we don't know what to do. And it's like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. And so what you have to understand is it's not where you start. It's not how you start, but it's just starting. All right. Well, I want to go to acronym DADS. Right. So we learn a lot from my dad. Jesus, God's our dad. Like, so acronym, first D, DADDS, DADS. First D is making a decision. Before I do anything, I have to make a decision to do it, right? Make a decision. A is for action. So make a decision. Now I have to have actions. A lot of times people can create an idea, think about an idea, but they never put action towards it, right? So we have to act upon those decisions that we make, all right? The other D and D is discipline and dedication, because no matter what I choose to do, I have to be disciplined and dedicated to it. No matter what it chooses to be, how it's going to be successful, I have to be disciplined and dedicated to it. And the S is sacrifice. Sacrifice. And that's what anything you choose to do. Whether you want to start a business, building your relationship with God, being a great manager, a supervisor, a parent, a friend, whatever that is, you still have to do those things. You have to decide to be a good friend. You have to take action being a good friend. I have to be disciplined and dedicated to that friend. I have to sacrifice other things for that friend or that child or that parent, whatever it may be. So this is going to help you holistically, whether it's starting a business, being in a business, your self-work. If I want to be a better get better, understanding my word better, I've decided to do that. Then I got to start doing action. What? Reading my word more. Then I got to be dedicated and disciplined and setting time to reading my word so I know it better. I have to sacrifice time going other places so I can be in my word so I can know it better, because the more I use it, the more I do it, the better I'm going to understand it. Correct? So use that holistically, and no matter where you are in your life, you can use that, right? And so that doesn't mean, if I choose to do something, it's going to be easy. Not going to be easy. We're going to go through the fire, like purpose through the fire. And so some people are looking to be we want things to happen right now. Everything's not going to happen right now. It's like when, how many of y'all like to eat? Raise your hand. Like, anybody like to eat? Any foodies in here? Good. That's some, he's like, what? He's like, yeah, that's true. And so if you like to eat, so if you're like, sometimes you can put something on a hot stove and it's a seared it real fast, right? It cooks it real fast, right? Y'all with me? Searing a steak cooks it real fast. Hey, no yawning while I'm talking, okay? You know I gotta give you a hard time. That's my buddy right there. But sometimes you put something on a hot iron or a hot stove in it, or a plate on a grill, and it burns it on the outside. It just gives a good sear real quick, right? Real quick, right? And so what I want y'all to understand, things are not going to happen quick for you, so don't get discouraged. We want things to happen right now and we get discouraged. You have to understand your process is not searing a piece of meat. Your process is barbecue. Your process is brisket. What does it do? It's in the fire a lot longer. It's getting smoked. But guess what? That brisket is so tender and juicy and it tastes so good. So what you understand is your right now is not going to be your good when you understand there's a process. It takes time. Understand it takes time to smoke for that meat to get real tender, for all that flavor to get in that damn meat. But so the Lord is trying to give you more flavor, which gives you better opportunity, which set you in a better position to be successful rather than just having. You know what I'm saying? Not just, I don't want to just have a business. I want to have a successful business. I don't just have a business. I want to have a business that reaches thousands of people. I want to have a business just to be. I don't want to just have it. So understand what you say. Your tongue. Don't just say I want something. It's state to the Lord exactly what you want. Because like we're limited sometimes in our tongue and what we say. Oh, I want to have a business. I want to have this. And what? What exactly do you want? Be detailed in what you want. I want to have a business that serves this many people. I want to make this amount of money. It's okay to make money. It's not okay to have a love for it, but it's okay to make money. You know, don't get in our ways. Oh, I don't want to make money. I don't want to don't become a lover of money. You know what I'm saying? So it's more so like, but state those things. If you want to make $10,000 a month, state it. I want my business to make $20,000 a month, state it. Oh, I don't want to just make $20,000 a month. I want to make $20,000 a month and keep at least 50% of it. Because that's what a lot of people in business mess up, where it don't matter how much you make, it matters how much you keep. You know, I know a lot of people make $1 million, but they spend out $990,000, so you only make 10. You know what I'm saying? Is that necessarily successful? To some, it might be. But if you really want to be there, you have to understand your tongue and write those things down. Understand exactly what you want. So if you want it, write it down. Speak it. Well, speak exactly what you want, so you know you're going to get that. You know, if that's what you really want. And it all depends on you. You know, it has to be some effort into it. You know, and sometimes people are afraid to get into business or jump out there because they don't know. Make sure you are, if you don't know, do something different. Go volunteer somewhere. Go to that place. I don't care if it's a competitor. Go learn about it. Why? It's only going to make you better. Anything I've ever done, like I've went and learned. Oh, let me see what's going on here. Like, because you don't walk in arrogant in a way like you feel like you know everything. Be able to receive. All right. So, and so like some things I did, like with my trucking, like a lot of people send emails to the trucking companies, things of that nature. I actually had a portfolio. I wrote out, had my name. I'll go, hey, this is who I am. Boom. What does it do? It set me apart from every other, especially minority companies that did it. Because nobody was going, because everybody's technology, right? But if I took the effort, took time out of my day to come to your company and say, hey, sir, this is who we are. Boom. I have every certification that you can think of. Boom. This is who we are. What does it do? Set myself apart. When I did my CPR trainings, so I'll go in the evening sometimes. Everybody don't work the full day. I'll bring water and snacks. I make it comical. Why? Because you worked all day. You hungry. You don't want to be there. Brought you something to drink, something to eat, and I made you laugh. What does it do? Set me apart. So you got to think about how do you set yourself apart from everybody else? You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing. But it's like only you can determine that. You, because you have to understand your niche. Like even my life insurance. Like I go talk to anybody. You guys ask my wife. I don't care who it is. I go talk to. I meet people at the gas station. That's my personality. That's not going to work for everybody. An introvert's not going to work for you. You got to do it in a different way. Understand who you are and work it in a way that benefits you. Because guess what? It keeps you true to yourself. I tell people, don't be fake. Be true to yourself at all times. Whatever that is, be true to yourself. But now I don't have to put on a facade for other people when I'm doing this or doing that. I'm always true to myself because now I'm really my passion and being true to myself, I won't be burnt out as fast doing the Lord's work in my purpose and in my process of doing it, because I'm being me. At the end of the day, I have to be me. Be you at all times, because who can be better than you? A better you than you? You can. And things gonna go your way, not gonna go your way sometimes. So what? Guess what? Get on that bike and pedal again. You know, it's all in how do I overcome it? How do I keep going? How do I keep moving? And it's the process. It's being sometimes having a community of people around you that support you, good people that can support you. And you don't have to. I'm sorry, some people. I'm not a big social media guy, but you ain't got to tell everybody what you're doing. Sometimes you got to move in silence. My mom and my sister didn't know what I did for 2 years. My dad didn't. Nobody knew what I did for 2 years. Well, I lay low. It's the focus. So if I'm focused like that, it alleviates a lot of distractions. A lot of people miss their destination because they're distracted by somewhere else. They might see a Krispy Kreme sign and get distracted and take a detour, or a Dairy Queen when you're traveling. You know what I mean? And so it's like, how do I alleviate letting those distractions take me where my focus is? I got to stay away from them. And whatever that means, it may be a day, it may be 2 days, it might be a week, maybe 3 months, whatever it has to do for yourself. You know what distracts you. Get away from it until you get your goal, if that's what you want to do. But nobody can do it for you but you. And understand that. And remember, at some point, I feel like everybody here have been an employee at some point. Work for somebody. Maybe some of you may not, but most people have. And so and when you're an employee, think to yourself, was I working in a way that I would want somebody to work for me? Because you never know. Because one day you may want to have your own business. You might not have it right now, but the Lord may put in your heart to just start it. But you got to be a good steward. No matter if you work, even if you're smarter than that person, you do your job to your best of your ability. In excellence, you operate in excellence in anything you do. Period. Because when you get to that point, you have somebody, you have your own company, you want your employees to work hard just like you did. Just like you did. It's like it's pouring into other people. Like when you support others. Because at some point you're gonna want support, but are you supporting other people? We gotta support each other. Everybody's in the same rat race. And I tell people all the time, I'll give as much as I can. You know why? Because I don't like eating at the table by myself. I like to socialize. You guys, I like to be around people. So if I can do anything to pour into you so we can all eat, let's do it. Because guess what? It's enough out here for everybody. It's enough here for everybody. Like, and it's sad when people, try to bring it down. I have this side note. We had I went on this call. It was a new project down in South Carolina for the new Panthers practice stadium. It's like a some $1 billion project or something, whatever. I had people on my own truck yard like, why you on there? You don't need to be here. Why you on there? You ain't ready for this. What I can't do is allow what they say dictate what I am. Because no matter what, I know I have the power of the king with me, so I don't care how big the project is, I know I'm prepared. Period. So I can't let what other people say. So understand who's around you. So again, support others. Be there for them. Lift them up. Like we talk about you want to be filled till our cup runneth over. How do you picture that? Tell me, when you see a cup running over, how do you picture it? Talk to me. How do you picture a cup running over? Spin it outside. What does the cup look like? Clear? What does the cup look like? Large, clear? Talk to me. Is it vertical? Vertical, right? That's how most people picture a cup spilling over, right? And it spills everywhere, right? Sometimes it's going to be hard to catch because it's not a directed spill. So my whole point to that is, if I tip my cup over, I can pour instead of letting it spill. But guess what? I can still receive, right? So if I'm pouring to somebody else, I have to position myself to be poured into. That's why I feel like a lot of us are doing, like we're not humbling ourselves enough to, hey, do you mind helping me? Because for our cup to be filled, we have to be poured into. So we have to be receptive to be poured into. But guess what? As my cup is tilted and I'm being poured into, I can pour into others at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? That's what giving support to others comes into play. We got to support others. Continue. You can receive and give at the same time. You have a directed pour. If I want to pour into somebody, boom, I don't want it to spill because that's a waste. Waste not, want not. You understand what I'm saying? So continue to uplift others. You will be uplifted. It might not come from who you think it's going to come from. It may not. Just because you support that person, doesn't mean they're going to support you. But you support that one person, and two people, one of them might not come, but the other person might know 10 people that come support you because you were there. You took the effort. You never know. You never know where the Lord's going to lead you. Like, and be obedient. Be obedient. Support. It doesn't have to always be financial. Well, Sean, I don't have that much money to give out. Your presence means so much more to other people. Like, it just, you never know. Like, and just being obedient. I don't know. This come to me like last night. I think you talked to a young lady beside you. So I was at the food. I was ordering our food. Started talking. She was like, for some reason, she said she was a believer. She got to talking, told her about the event, and then the Lord said, "Give the lady a tip." Now we're I'm ordering to go. Someone said, "Give the lady a tip." It was a certain amount. The lady came back, and started crying. She said, "You don't know." Because I said, well, how much you want? Because she with me all the time. I said, how much you want for a tip? She told me. And she said, you don't know what I'm going through right now. You don't understand how much of a blessing it's going to be. So just, and I say that to be obedient in what God's telling you to do. But you got to be receptive. That's why I say about that cup. You got to be receptive. You got to be ready to receive. Because it's not just about you. Like the scripture said, don't hold your thoughts, your purpose in your storehouse because moth and stuff will come, because it's a waste. All of you have a purpose. How do I find that purpose? It starts with being receptive. You got to be ready to receive. Open the door. Open the door. Some of y'all got those little video doorbells. You know when somebody coming up. Some of y'all, just like that doorbell, you know when someone coming up. You know the Lord is coming to you. Rather than waiting for them, open the door for them and let them in. That's going to prepare you so much more forward. Be ready for it. You know, be ready. And like I said, it doesn't have to be, I'm an entrepreneur, but it doesn't have to be that part. It's just being obedient in anything you're doing. Anything you're doing. And like the Lord will bless you. Just be obedient. Be obedient. And I feel like using the acronym, the dad's acronym, in any situation you're going through, anything you want to do, want to be, it's going to help. Like if you thought about starting a business, you don't know what you want to do. You can ask her. I have businesses right now that I want to give away because I cannot do them. I have 23 inventions. I can't do it all. I don't want to. You guys ask all the time, what are you doing? Well, I thought about something else. We were in the car driving. Oh, have you thought about this and the third? Come up with an invention. Like it just happened. But I know I can't do it all. But guess what? I don't want to. So I want to pour into other people. So if you don't know a business you want to start, talk to me. Guess what? People pay for anything. Other day I was riding the road. You know, people pay for people to come to their yard and pick up poop. Like, I was like, what in the world? Like you can get paid to do anything. Maybe that's somebody got a poop purpose. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes you can't dictate what your purpose is. But be ready for it. Be ready for it, man. But that's all I have you guys. Like I said, I believe you guys. Like I said, man, just know that you can do it. Like I said, have the arrogant faith. Remember, all gains, no losses. No matter the situation you're going through, there's always something to gain. Like, I appreciate you guys. That's all I have for you.
Thank you, Sean. That was really good. Thank you to all the speakers. I'm just going to wrap up what he said real quick because we got to make some moves and we got to speak to the lady of the day. We got to hear from her in her closing. DADS, DADDS, decision, action, discipline, dedication, and sacrifice. And I just wanted to run off some key things that sort of wrap everybody up together. In no specific order. Be obedient in what God wants you to do. Speak exactly what you want. How do you set yourself apart from others? Know your niche or niche. Set smart goals. Be true to yourself. Be you. Do the work. Write the vision and make it plain. I added that one. Meditate on the positive. And the cup running over. I love that. Visual that you gave, because my friends and I, we say that we want to pour from an overflowing cup. And my girlfriend said that she gave us a talk and said that hers is a teacup and a saucer, so that when she overflows, it's what's left in the saucer she's able to give to somebody else. But I like what you said too, because if the cup is tipped and you're pouring into someone else, someone else can be pouring into you as you're pouring out to someone else. So that was awesome. We constantly have to understand that we cannot be blessed if we don't do that. But in the process, something I want to add that my friends and I say, how many people have traveled on a plane? Raise your hand real quick. What is one of the first things that happens once they close the door and you sit down and they tell you to buckle your seatbelt? What happens next?
Instructions.
So, in everything that you do, please put your oxygen mask on first before you assist anyone else. Okay? And so I'm going to introduce Miss Deja Burke. I am so excited and glad that she is my accountability partner. You know, we got to get better at being accountable to each other. But when we do, we have the greatest time, the greatest phone calls. When we see each other at church, we just look at each other and we give each other's look like, what'd you do? What'd you do? You know? And so I'm so excited that she told me about this event. I asked how could I help, and so I'm grateful and thankful that I was able to help you and come today. It was a blessing. I learned so much. I met new people that I want to stay connected to, because we have to stay connected so that we can continue that support. Like Sean said, we have to do that in order for us to push forward. I'm like you, I don't want to sit at the table by myself, because I have on my vision board, I have 7 vision boards down my hallway. One is a bunch of people sitting on a beach, and I want to be, I tell my friends, we are passports, laptops in hand, going through the airport, on the highways and byways of the airport, sitting in first class, or hiring a private jet to go wherever we want to go in the world. And I want to take other people with me. So it's all for you, girl. It's all for you.
Thank you all for coming. I really hope that you are able to take away something that was very specific to you in your journey today. Thank you to my speakers and everyone that helped. I appreciate you all so much, especially my family. So this song, what is it called? Because I thought it was so wrong when I said it. House of Prayer. I don't know if you all ever heard this song, but this song, I don't know. For me, it just takes me to a different level, because today we talked about purpose through the fire. So that's going to be anything that's connected to you, whether it's your job, your life, your children, entrepreneurship, as we talked about today. We have so much adversity, and anytime that you're on the path towards your purpose and your calling, the devil is not happy at all. So you're going to get things thrown at you from left and right. And we can have Job experiences. We can look at the Bible and relate to many characters. At some point, you can see yourself as one of the characters in the Bible. But the good thing about it is, it's always a beginning to an end. So it gives you how it started, it gives you the process, and it shows you how God worked it out in the end. So you can look at it and just use it as a tool of life for each character, any of them, as a day-to-day tool, and just a hope that it's going to turn out the way it's supposed to turn out. Because he says that he planned our days. He said that he knew our name in our mother's womb, and that our days are numbered, meaning that every single day that we face, there's all warfare that we go through. That fire should be the fuel. So not only is this song saying, let my fire not burn out, but this fire that we're talking about today should be the fuel that you use to push yourself. There's a scripture that says, you put on a garment of praise for a spirit of heaviness. So everything that we are enduring while we are trying to walk the righteous path, it said it's narrow, it's not wide, not many will take it. We should keep every attack, every disappointment, every failure, every doubt, every turnaround, whatever it is, as fuel up under us for our praise, our worship, and our encouragement, instead of allowing it to let us get down on ourselves. So I'll let that play a little bit. I was gonna sing it, but I'm shy, so I'm not gonna sing it. But again, I really appreciate you guys coming out. There are still some desserts if you all want to take any of that. The food is probably a little cold at this point, but if you want to pack a plate or something like that, you can have that. And we'll let the song play for a little second.
Woo!
think I did my note. I don't even think I did my note. I did it like off the top of my head. It was good. Alright, get over there, guys. It's too late. I don't walk off.
This was nice, Deja. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.